Welcome to the first live game design live stream of the whole year. My god. I have to do this every single week, otherwise I feel like I lose track of what the hell direction my life is going in within week to week. And basically, the way that I frame that, the way that I figure out what direction my life is going, is I use the special framework, which is these categories here: strength, persistence, experience, creativity, contribution, intelligence, attachment, and life force. It's a whole bunch that I'll show you in the stream, but I do this every week. I live stream it just so I kind of have someone to talk to, even though no one may be viewing it, but it's a way for me to kind of get in the flow state, almost like I have to have a conversation because it's live. I don't really get to pause much. So yeah, I guess I'll just get into it and show you what it looks like. So this is my page in Notion where I manage my weekly reflection. Over here, I can see the database pages of each special category. Special are areas of life, but also attributes that we have. And they're all the areas of life that you can find fulfillment in. And especially for me, in terms of a way that I can manage my whole life all in one app, it's helped me understand how I feel between putting time, effort, and energy into each of these different categories and how fulfilling they are individually and how they react to one another. So to go over my weekly reflection, I have this set of questions here, which is first a reflection and then a realignment. But to frame that and the way that I do it quite seamlessly without having to actually enter in just plain text is I have a para-style framework or database system. It's in here. If you know about Notion and database systems, you'll understand it from this here. Whereas normal life organization kind of looks like this, where you have a whole bunch of different apps to try and organize your life, even though all of these things can be related to one another. Whereas in para systems, but especially within life game design that I've created, you have the special attributes that give you the areas of life, and then within that you have their own unique individual areas. So for example, something like strength within special has areas, projects, tasks, and notes, and within those you can have things like weightlifting and nutrition. So for me, everything in my life is over here, and so I can see how my life has been and what kind of distribution that I've had within the special framework. So to kick it off, the start of the year hasn't been as momentum filled as I would have liked, as I guess I would have imagined, but that necessarily wasn't the intention that I had at the start. The intention I had was to, ease back into the flow of work and remember that I need to give myself a break in order to enjoy the work that I do more, because that's probably the biggest lesson that I've learned from Ali Abdaul's recent book of Feel Good Productivity, where the result and the outcome of what you do should not come at the cost of you enjoying the process. And it doesn't mean that you think every second of the process is fun. It means that you are making sure that whatever you're doing, even if it's hard, is intrinsically motivating to you, I think, is a message of the book. It doesn't advocate for laziness, not at all. I think it advocates for productivity and mindfulness around it. And I think that's exactly what myself and a lot of people who are suffering from things like burnout, from purposelessness, need in this day and age, where you see all of these people. Let me just have a little rant. We see all of these people who have found their own purpose and who relentlessly pursue it, and then we mold ourselves to try and be like those people who have found it already, who have derived success from doing that. And when we're in the stages of finding that for ourselves, we feel like because we haven't got to this massive stage, this massive leap in productivity derived from intrinsic fulfillment of a purpose, we feel like we failed somehow because we still need to get the gears going of what we have in ourselves and whatever our purpose for the season of life is. So this special framework has helped me understand exactly what is the purpose of the season of my life, whether it's enjoying the experience of life, whether it's being more creative, whether it's focusing on learning more, all those different aspects. And so, yeah, let me get straight to it. So these tabs over here are different ways that I can see what I've done in the week, divided by projects, tasks, and notes. So this over here is a linear way for me to see what happened. So from the earliest in the week to the latest in the week, this is all the major achievements that I've had within all areas of life. The same view within projects, but in a calendar. And then we have tasks, which are smaller achievements, and then just notes, things that I've written down or things that I've edited. So yeah, usually following this template over here, I'll go and fill these in. So in terms of strength, what have been the big and small wins in terms of strength this week? And definitely completing my Power Stone challenge. The Power Stone challenge is really the strength stone. All of these areas of life are related to the infinity stones. And so, okay, let's go over it. So it's the Power Stone, just strength, the Space Stone, which is persistence, which is about controlling your environment, controlling the space around you. The Time Stone, which is your experience of time, how you enjoy the time you have on this earth. The Reality Stone is split between creativity and contribution, because the way that you contribute determines the reality of the world, and also your creativity. The creative thoughts you have determine your reality in the world. And I've changed it a bit, but the Mind Stone is intelligence, which is learning, finance, and planning. The Soul Stone is attachment, which is close relationships. And there's no stone for this, but I attribute this to the symbolism of yin and yang, and that's life force, so that's mental health and spirituality. But yeah, for strength, honestly, my consistency in the gym this week has been great, and I've been pushing myself. I've had a shoulder injury for quite a long time, and I hope that I stop talking about it in the coming months because I'm sick of having it. But yeah, I was previously holding myself back from really pushing myself at the gym, but now I've really kind of stepped out of my comfort zone and pushed myself to at least like 9 to 10 RPE, going to complete failure and going really hard at it, while not trying to just absolutely destroy myself at the same time. Keeping form on lock while I do that. Form and tempo and my mind muscle connection, everything. So the gym. I'm gonna write that down. Consistency at the gym has been a big win for this week, and especially getting back into doing squats. Because I stopped doing squats for a while because whenever I held the bar, the injury would just get in the way of it, so I felt like I couldn't progress and there was no point if I was just going to stay at the same weight. But I'm going to break that barrier. I'm definitely going to break that barrier. A big thing that I got this week in terms of persistence. So again, persistence is a life bucket that people don't articulate well. It's how you manage your environment and things you buy that determine your environment. So for example, it's about maintaining your house, maintaining your car, and just general items that you buy. And so one thing that I got, which hopefully is really going to help my sleep, is blockout curtains. Just because every morning I've been waking up super early. It's summer over here. It's the peak of summer, and the light will wake me up before I actually am recovered. And my Whoop has been telling me that I'm not entirely recovered from my sleep because I keep on waking up before I'm actually recovered enough, because the light is so piercing. So I got blackout curtains. I feel like I need to make an adjustment because the light that comes from the top of the curtain is still piercing out. So I still need to cover that, but it has made a big difference already, I feel like, because at the start it was like almost broad daylight. As soon as I wake up, it's like right in my face. And then experience. So again, in like life managing apps, you're not really encouraged to put what you've experienced in. So like the entertainment that you have in your life, or just going out into nature. Usually those things would be reserved for putting on Instagram, but for me, I plan it and I put pictures of it on here, so I don't have to worry about those negative effects of Instagram of like wanting people to like your stuff and all that. It's really just for me to keep these memories and to see for me that I am taking time to put into experience, because I think one of the greatest insights from the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown is that, yes, we need to have essential productivity, but our rest from productivity is also essential. I was really surprised to actually find that insight from the book, because I wasn't expecting it, and I thought the book would almost condemn it. But I really like his, I guess it's a modern approach. It's a modern, holistic, and very realistic approach. Let me see. I'm just going to check the stream here because I feel like something's going on with the mic. Let me hear what's going on. Oh no, we're good. Okay. And so moving on to a big win in creativity is definitely getting over here. 8 out of 12 minutes of my video done. This is going to be a big production in my YouTube channel, because it's I've been working on this video for 2 months. It's the best work that I've ever done, and all my friends that I've shown it to are like insanely impressed with it. Like, I've told them that I've leveled up my editing, my video editing and my storytelling quite a bit, and they'd be like, yeah, that's cool. But this one, they would be like, whoa, that was cool. And then they kind of realize what they saw and they're like, dude, that was insane. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited to push this out, because it's a video, again, I've been working on it for 2 months, editing one video. But I actually really enjoy just putting all my effort into one thing and really fleshing it out and making it the best it can possibly be. So yeah, this is going to be part of a series where I explain what the hell life game design is. It's basically the same principle as these set of posts that I have on my Instagram, which I'll show you over here. So these set of posts are the explanation of what life game design is, what the special system is, and how the philosophy of life game design and the framework of special ties in and is actioned within this app here, the Notion app, to literally organize your whole life. And so I'm going to make a series, now that I've made the Instagram posts here that kind of describe it in infographics, I'm going to make a video series that kind of does the same thing, but far more engaging, far more in depth, and just with a lot of the passion that I've had for this whole project for so long. I can't wait to get it out. So yeah, the thing is, it takes me about 8 hours just to get a few minutes, not 8 hours, it takes me about 4 hours of deep work to get just a few minutes of footage on, because I'm creating a whole lot of assets from scratch for it. I'm making a whole lot of motion graphics from scratch, and yeah, it's just taking me a lot of time. But when I finish that one, everything else after that will be so much easier. I know it. And yeah, at the start, I kind of skipped over this, but at the start I did my yearly reflection, but also 2024 planning. So my yearly reflection was literally me going over everything that I've done this whole year. So in my Notion page, I have a whole bunch of different views that you can see everything that you've done, especially within projects, because it's focusing on everything throughout the year. So these are my short-term views. So you can have short-term views, which is like a traditional project manager that shows you what's overdue, yesterday, today, da-da-da. Then you have year and season views, which is a much more expanded time horizon. And that allows you to see what you've done in the seasons, which are the quarters, but also this year and all years together. So when I go to this page, I can see the projects that I've done in every single year. And so I went through everything in 2023. If I see it like this, I went through everything in 2023 and just reflected on the most impactful things that happened out of all of these things. And there was a lot to go through, but I really enjoyed it because I gave my friends a space to do it in what I call end of year reflection podcasts with them. So I would ask them their achievements, I would plug it into this system for them, and then I would get them to rank it. And then once we ranked it, we would just discuss how they felt about all of those achievements that they made. And the recurring theme that happened with all of them is that when I asked them for that list of all the achievements they made, they would give me, let's say, 8 to 15 achievements. And when I think about it, there's 52 weeks in a year, and they're telling me that they've only done about, 8 to 15 things. And I knew that they were kind of underselling themselves, really, about everything they've done. And it's because they don't have a way to articulate all the areas of life and the achievements that they can have in all of those areas of life. So it actually made me learn a lot about them individually, and really helped them to give themselves the credit of all the stuff that they've done this year, really. That was what I got out of it most. And actually, that's a big thing that I did with my best friend who's in Japan at the moment, Derek. I really loved going over his one because, again, like, we've been apart for so long because he's been living in Japan. And while I'm like proud and so happy that he's there, I miss out on a lot of what's going on in his life. So that was a really good way for me to, connect with him and understand him on a deeper level by literally seeing the scope of every area of his life within Special, and just understand what does it mean for him for experience? What does intelligence mean to him? What do his close relationships look like? What is his mental health like? What's his conversation with himself like? How's he been grinding at work? Because I know the man works very hard. So, yeah. Another big thing to note within, let's see, where are we up to? We had strength, persistence, creativity, intelligence. Something I learned. I don't know if I had something here already, but I have started reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and tandem, I'll read that in the mornings, and then after I've been reading Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdul, which I've nearly finished. I was supposed to finish it today, but I didn't quite get to it. I had a time where I could have finished it, but honestly, I just needed to be present. I usually like to do things like that when I'm eating, but I've noticed that because I'm trying to squeeze in getting so much done, it's actually taking away from individual things, like taking time to enjoy the food that I'm eating, even though I eat very clean, so it's not the most flavorsome, but at the same time, being able to be present in every bite and having the calm from that is so much more important than trying to cram information in my head that is not really going to solidify itself. But anyways, reading Feel Good Productivity and Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And Meditations has been difficult to read, but I think it's one of the most grounding things to do in the morning, because I listened to on a podcast about yeah, the first thing I want to do in the morning is one, either have my thoughts clear or read a work that has passed the great test of time. And Meditations is exactly one of those amazing epics that have just lasted throughout the ages, because when you see how he articulates the workings of his own mind and the workings of society, you just see how much thought has been distilled into such a short lifetime comparatively. Because back then, all they had to do mainly was think. They didn't have any outside stimulus. So they could really distill their thoughts at a level where I think we struggle to do nowadays. So it was nice to see the contrast from that. And man, this is not me. this photo is not me. One day it will be. But yeah, I recently got back into surfing, and I caught my first proper green wave, not just like the white water, which is this where you catch that, but a proper green wave. Even though it was for a little bit, because it was quite a fast wave and it closed out pretty fast. It was so good. Me and my dad decided to go out at night for this one. I mean, like 6 p.m. It was like sunset. It was really nice. And yeah, I just got such a thrill from it, man. I just remember going crazy when it happened and being so happy. And I guess that's why I really love the adrenaline rush of surfing now. And the thing I'm sad about is that surfing is a sport where you have to wait for good waves to come. It's not always out there. Like, I guess if you... I was going to say mountain biking, but if it rains a lot, like heavily, you're probably not going to go out. Yeah. I just wish it wasn't as weather dependent as it is, but such is life. But it's been great. One thing I just put in here was life force stuff. So life force, again, is an area of life, I guess, your mental health, but it's mental health and spirituality, self-reflections, that whole life bucket of all of those kind of concepts. And so one thing I'm doing at the moment is one meditation healing, which is a protocol by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Essentially, it's harnessing the power of the placebo effect. If you don't know, you don't know. And so if you know, you know. And one thing I'm doing as a protocol from Andrew Huberman is trauma journaling. So it's journaling about one of the hardest experiences that you've ever gone through. And yeah, literally just writing on it in a perspective as if you were describing it happening again. And it is so extremely hard to go through that, but I feel it's such a good way to distance myself from the thoughts that I have about that. Because if you think about the hardest thing that you've ever experienced, there's probably, I know for at least myself, there's a lot of subconscious things that I do, subconscious vices that I have, subconscious negative thoughts that I have that derive from that experience. And so what I'm trying to do is reconcile how I feel about it. And that protocol by Andrew Huberman is probably one of the best that I've seen in terms of dealing with it. And so now that I've gone pretty much through the projects, I'm going to add this over here. Doing the 2024 planning, definitely big moves, because I just created a framework for perpetual year planning, which is just a fancy way of saying it's a way to plan out your year or your season. And this is what I did my most recent blogcast on. I have a blog on Medium that I create a podcast from. After I finish the blog, I read it out basically in a podcast format. And yeah, I made this template and way for me to really plan my whole year out. So here it is. These are the steps to plan either your week, month, quarter, or year, which is brainstorming all the things you want to do within the special frameworks. So all of these categories over here, you figure out what you want to do within each of them, and there's going to be an insane amount, and then you categorize them into things that you're going to focus on, and then things you're going to just keep either in the bucket list, you're not going to do it this year, keep it out of your mind, but it's still there for you to review whenever you need to. And so it just helps me get everything out of my head. And then I list and time block all the big obligations that I have. I pick my most meaningful projects and roughly time block them for the month. Break down those projects into sub-projects and tasks. And then find a daily habit to get those projects done, and then reflect on the season. So yeah, honestly, before I had... Here's the thing about me. I struggle to do anything without a framework, which is why I'm gonna toot my own horn. I'm really fucking good at making frameworks for things, but it's a trade-off. If I don't have a framework for something, I struggle with it. And that's exactly why I made the special framework, because until, like, literally, I'm not gonna lie, until I had this, I feel like I could not manage or control my life. I feel like I could not organize it, and I feel like it was just a mess. And it almost still feels like a mess, but it's a mess that I can make sense out of. It's a mess that I can see from a top-down view instead of, like, being within the scramble. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, that was... Being able to do that planning just really gave me clarity, because I know exactly what I need to do. And yeah, it's pretty much over here. If I go to my main page in Life Game Design, I have my projects here, and I have a tab called Focus, because these are broken down into these 6 categories of, here we go, bucketed, bucket list, awaiting, progress, focusing, complete, and archived. And then I just am able to see the focus tab right here. And the focus tab is like, this is all I'm doing. This is all I need to focus on at the moment. So it really kind of grounds me, even though it's almost, it can feel like overwhelming to have my whole life in one area. But I feel like what is more overwhelming is having my life spread out around all of these apps that I can't see together. Because imagine if I had like all of these tabs trying to organize them all in one, and it'd be like such a mess. So yeah, that's just this has given me so much clarity. Just that planning has given me so much clarity. And it's the same planning I plan to do with this week coming up, where I really want to make some big progress on that video. I want to make some mad progress on that video, because I want to get it out by the end of this month. And I've been saying that every month, but I've been underestimating how much work has gone into it. But I feel like I'm so close. I am so close. What lessons did I learn from things that didn't go quite right? Actually, at the start of this week, here we go. Here is the hard part about doing reflections, and I usually have this safety net of having my boys from the Habit Tracking Kings to tell these very difficult things to. But I just had a call with, that's what I should put in here actually. I just had a call with my friend Toa, and she really helped me. She gave me space to really talk about what happened at the start of this week when I lost my sense of direction, because I found that, here's the context. It was, New Year's party, all that stuff, and I was like, oh, let's go on the dating apps. Let's try, honestly, like, have a meaningless hookup. And it was horrible. It sucked. I did it, but it sucked. And I realized that the only reason why I did it is because I, one, felt stuck with the video editing. So I decided to go on to the next easiest thing. And two is because I feel like I'm going to be honest, I have many times where I feel like this is all pointless. Many times where I feel like this is up. Why not just give into these like instantly gratifying pleasures and stuff like that? But I found that the fact that I have to be comfortable and embrace that feeling of being stuck, because that's the reason why most people quit. So if I can't learn to overcome that, then I can't expect anything from this. And so, yeah, fuck, this is hard to talk about, because I literally just got out of the call with her, talking to her about this stuff. Dating apps. What lessons I learned from dating apps and casual relationships, not even casual hookups in general, just suck. They suck. I knew they suck, but I was stuck and escaped. Before, this would have looked like escaping into binging video games or binging a TV series, but I guess the vice has just shifted, really. So how well did I stick to my plan and stay focused? Honestly, at the start, let me voice type this stuff, because I don't want to have to do this. Is my thing gonna pick it up? Hold on, give me a sec. Give me a quick sec to set this up. Voice typing is the goat. Once you get it, you will never go back. Here we go. At the start of the week, I had good focus, but then again, the whole thing with the dating apps, after New Year's, really distracted me. But honestly, the pain I felt after really realigned me to get back in onto it. And so I pretty much achieved everything I set out to do for this week. So honestly, I did have a setback, but it wasn't insanely massive. So I'm happy that it didn't completely derail me. And then, what inspired you this week? This is a question that I love asking myself. And there's two things that come to mind. A thing that I really needed to listen to when that happened. This is David Goggins. David Goggins' first podcast in a while, starring with Andrew Huberman. I don't think there would be anyone else he would really want to be in a podcast with. And also, something that really got me hyped is Blue Exorcist, the Shimane Illuminati saga. I love this series because the main character from Blue Exorcist, I can't even remember his name because it's been so long, but he just reminds me of my best friend Derek. And I guess in tandem, they are both such an inspiration to me to be a better person in general. So honestly, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch that. And it looks so insane because I guess now it's so old that I can't wait to see how they polish it up and get it modernized. And is there anything else that inspired me this week? Let me just look through my notes. Nah, I think that was it. I think those were some really good inspiring stuff. And so, yeah, now that I've reflected, just to clarify, I'm not working at the moment because I'm using my savings to pursue making life game design into a fully fleshed out philosophy, framework, and eventually a movement of people who design their lives for fulfillment instead of empty, extrinsic rewards. So that's why contribution is empty at the moment, because contribution is to do with work and charity. Although, one thing that I would like to have within contribution is to find a community that I can contribute to. But I've just moved to New Plymouth, and yeah, I guess I'm trying to find one. I have no idea what that would look like, but who knows, eventually I'll probably find something, and I'll be grateful for it. So what do we got for realignment? What is the number one thing I need to accomplish next week? I want to get to, 10 minutes out of 12 in life game, in the philosophy video, in the first video of the life game design series. Because, yeah, I'm at about 8 minutes, and it will take me a long time. It will take me a long time to get to 10 minutes. Honestly, I think I can get to 12, but I haven't started sound design yet. It's mostly the creation of the motion graphics and the meticulous editing of the B-roll that is taking so much time. 10 minutes doesn't sound like much, but with the editing that I've been doing, that is realistic. That is realistic. Because in previous weeks, I've been like, oh yeah, I can finish the whole thing, and then I don't, and then I beat myself up about it, but this I feel is a realistic goal, and if I get to it too early, that means I can just add on to it. So I've really, the reason why I'm being so focused on this is because I've made the mistake over and over of giving myself too high of an expectation, giving myself an unrealistic goal that I don't achieve, and making myself feel bad about not achieving an unrealistic goal, which is just extremely unhealthy. So I feel like that's realistic. I feel like that's realistic, and I feel like I can smash that if I focus. And what specific learning do I need to do for next week's tasks? I actually want to read Emotional Intelligence. I should have it here. Well, maybe I don't. Okay. I want to read Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman, I believe. Let's look it up. At the moment, I am making a Emotional Intelligence 2.0. What is that? Anyway, at the moment, I am making a series of books that I call the Cornerstone books. And basically, I have these areas of special here. Well, let me show you this. I have these areas of special here, right? And if I want to learn about each of these areas, I want a set of books that can teach me everything within this umbrella frame of the special framework. So I've already put in a few that I've read already. So one that's quite obvious is within creativity. One of the cornerstone books within it that has come out recently is The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. And so if you don't know anything about creativity and you want to understand the essence of it, The Creative Act by Rick Rubin is exactly that. It's such an amazing book. And so I want to develop that for everything. Another one that I would love to mention is Intelligence has learning with it, and Limitless by Jim Quick is one of the ultimate books for learning how to learn. And so again, it's got its mark in the cornerstone books that I want to develop as a set of books for all of these categories. So yeah, if anyone asks, man, I want to learn more about strength, I want to learn more about intelligence, I want to learn more about attachment or life force, then I can be like, these are the most distilled and best resources for you to look into this topic more. So that means I need to read all of the candidates for those books, for those cornerstone books, and a massive candidate for the life force or attachment is Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman, because emotional intelligence will teach us a lot about our own mannerisms, but also how to deal with others. And I read the brief on it, and it sounds like an amazing book. Everything that I read really pierced into the root of the problems that I was having. So I'm definitely going to be reading this week. This week coming. And what specific learning do I need to do for next week's tasks? I'm definitely going to need to... It's to do with video editing, to do with motion graphic design and stuff like that. But honestly, I feel like I just need to do the work. I don't think there's anything. There's nothing apart from reading books. And what is the task I can do that will make next week less stressful is sort out my meal planning. Definitely. I need to sort out my meal planning for next week. Because I did a bunch of groceries. I want to... Again, when I was in Auckland, I had a really good flow of meal prep because we had a really nice kitchen, but now we've downgraded a bit. So I need to kind of get used to how that is and get used to doing meal prep within the new kitchen because we don't have a gas stove, it's induction. And yeah, I just need to make a plan of what I'm going to eat because I want to go in a bulk now as well. So a few things are changing, so I want to stream like that because, again, that's within the life bucket of persistence. And persistence is all about how you manage your environment, but also your routines that you follow. So I really want to pin down the routine of meal prepping so I don't have to... It's something that I don't want to spend too much time on because, again, if I spend less time on persistence, and if I really focus on making this as streamlined as possible, that means I can spend more time in an area like creativity, which is where I really want to do, which is, developing all of this, developing the special framework and developing the philosophy of life game design. So yeah, sort out my meal planning is definitely one. What is on my not to do list? What is on my not to do list? This is a question that always gets me in these reflections, and that is not journaling. So it's a double negative, but I need to not journal. So what will I replace with this? Journaling every day. And in a way, doing this reflection is a type of journaling for me because it's a way for me to just get all the thoughts out of my brain like pretending like I'm talking to someone kind of thing. And that's what journaling is. I guess that's just having a conversation with yourself in the first place. And I guess I found that the reason why that helps me so much is because if you don't give yourself a space to separate yourself from your thoughts, something that Chris Williamson says all the time, it's like trying to hold smoke. You cannot hold smoke until you distill it into a liquid and you are able to put it in a vessel that you can see and that you can manipulate after. And that's exactly... Doing that has been the biggest impact on my productivity, on how I feel about doing work, and everything downstream from that. And so, to close it off, what am I looking forward to for next week? I have a call with Tyler, who is using my template of life game design, using the app, basically. It's a Notion template, but I call it an app because seriously, if you're going to use it to organize literally a whole life, I would call it an app, okay? And so yeah, I've got to catch up with him. And oh my god, what is happening with my screen? And what else do I have next week? Let's have a look at the calendar over here in terms of projects. Next week, I also want to finish, tomorrow, I want to finish Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdul. Oh, and I've got Derek visiting me. So we're going to climb up Mount Taranaki, and we're going to use this framework to plan his year, what I said about the blog post. We'll be doing that. And yeah, I've got to find a physio as well. So there's a lot. There's a lot I need to get done before he comes. Uh, yeah, there's a lot I want to get done before he comes, so that when he comes, we can just like enjoy the time, and be fully present and climb that goddamn mountain. We climb that motherfucking mountain. So yeah, shit. Oh my god, I'm gonna climb up a mountain next week. It's the first like proper mountain climb that I'm ever gonna do. It takes 10 hours to go up there, and honestly, I can't wait. Can't wait. It's gonna be so sick. So I'm just gonna write that down. Visit from Derek. And dude, that's insane. Man, fuck, I can't believe I'm gonna do that next week. Still hasn't hit me. Oh my god. That is a cool thing, because because like when you live in New Plymouth, you're able to see the mountain from like a lot of different places, and it just looks so epic. Like it's so like Lord of the Rings fucking Mount Doom kind of shit, and I'm just like, yo, I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna go up there and conquer them. I'm gonna go up there and conquer that bitch. So to close off for the end of it, what am I grateful for? There's a lot that comes to mind, but I think my friends, and especially for Toa, for giving me the space and advice in helping me reflect on my shortcomings on the week. Yeah. She really helped me. Give me really good space. So actually tomorrow I'm gonna help her list out all of her achievements for the year within the special framework. So that'll be a really nice way to give back to what she gave me. And what else am I grateful for? I'm grateful for my dad. Because the surfing. For being an epic surfer. And getting me into it again. Because it's something that I thought I would never want to do it ever again in my life, because I started off really bad. Like really bad. So yeah. There's a lot more, but I think those are the two main things that I want to close out with. So that's it for the weekly reflection of life game design. And so yeah, if you want to try out this template, there's the free version. If you go to, I'll put it in the link in the description, but if you go to my Instagram, you can have access to the full version of this if you just text me. And honestly, I need people to try it out for completely free, so please do. I'm trying to find people to teach this philosophy and this framework to see if it helps them with their lives, because I know how much it's helped me with my life. So I want to see if it can actually manifest into something that can help other people apart from myself. That's my number one goal for the next year, basically. But until then, thank you so much for joining me. It's been great.